Anytime I was trying to lose weight, I would automatically think, oh, I got to work out more and eat less. And it's not really about calories in, calories out. There's a lot more to it.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. I am so pumped to introduce you to my friend, Cher Chung, and she is a high performance coach who specializes in helping high performers with their nutrition and with their movement. And I was so pumped to have her join us today because she has made that successful but sometimes tricky transition from corporate employee to full-time coach. Shar, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite a while, so I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, yeah, I'm so happy to have you. So, Shar, just take 30 seconds if you don't mind and share with us what's your joy, what's your specialty, what do you love to help people with your coaching?
Oh my gosh. So I just love helping high performing women become better versions of themselves. And it was really based on my own journey and helping women that struggle just like me. So for 25 years, I was a former IT project management consultant, and now I am a perimenopause health and sustainable fat loss coach. A lot of people are like, wow, that's a complete 180 in my career, but I was hitting burnout in my IT project management career, and I found myself at my heaviest weight, and I thought I was doing all the right things. I started to eat less, I started to work out more, but I didn't know that I was already under eating. And so by doing that, I was just putting on additional stress on my body. And I remember waking up and I had just finished this massive project and I was reading all these accolades from all the executives on jobs well done. And I loved hearing that, but deep down, I was so upset with myself because I was at my heaviest weight and I was like, what am I doing wrong? And that kind of led me into getting help for myself, which I have never done before. So even asking for help was really hard for me. And that just turned into a passion. I found out I was not eating enough. I was exercising way too much, especially for my age. Less is more as we age. And I ended up losing 25 without feeling like I had ever gone on a diet before, because I was a fad diet chaser. I've done get results, but none of them would last. And so that just really led me to help other women out there that have struggled just like me. And a lot of it is more than just the weight release journey. It's about the stories that we tell ourselves and about loving your body of what it is capable of doing today, knowing that it may be a different body in 6 months or in a year from now. And so I just absolutely love what I do. I had no idea the amount of reward. I loved what I did as a project manager and the rewards I would get, but the connections that I have made with women all across the world and helping them become better versions, you can't even, I don't even know. It's really hard to put into words, but I absolutely love what I do. And when people come to me and they're like, you changed my life, I'm like, me? I'm just a small town farm girl, that's, and so it's just so rewarding, Amanda. I just absolutely love it.
That's incredible. And I don't know if you knew this, but I also came from a consulting background and, I was with a really big consulting firm and kind of moved through the ranks there. And I totally get what you're saying about how it was a very rewarding career at that time. And I thought it was incredible. And the most rewarding thing about coaching is for sure the relationships that you get to build along the way, being a part of something that is so personal and transformation. And, I do more, business coaching, but even so, what you were saying about the struggle bus of, I can't think of a feeling that is honestly, maybe I can think of a feeling that's worse, but it's pretty bad to feel like you're doing all the things and you're working so hard towards a goal and you're not getting anywhere. Yes. And like that narrative, like you said, of like, well, it must be because it's not for me, or it must be because there's something that's fundamentally flawed about me. And the truth of it is, and this is true in business as much as it is in health, you know, the truth is you're probably working plenty hard. Like that's not actually the thing. You actually need something else, something different. And there's something about your assumptions about what you need to do that is keeping you in that stuck. So yeah, I think it can be really hard for anyone to ask for help when they feel like they're already, you know, doing something
100%
and working so hard.
100%. Right? It is because you might think that you're doing all the right things, and so then you start to think, what's wrong with me? And there's literally nothing wrong with you. It's just, I always like to look at it, what is your current diet, and let's tweak your current diet, as opposed to, you know, when women think about losing weight or, you know, releasing weight, right away they think about, oh, I got to go to the gym. And it really starts with your nutrition, because anytime I was trying to, you know, lose weight, I would automatically think, oh, I got to work out more and eat less. And it's not really about calories in, calories out. There's a lot more to it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so many parallels in the business world, right? So
yes.
With all that, I am just like so curious, because we've got a lot of people who listen to this show that are, you know, launching a business, starting a business. They may be a health coach just like you, but they may be also just in a different area. And one of the things we've already talked about is how the customer is often hesitant to ask for help. So I am curious, like, what have you figured out works really well as a coach to create the safety that's needed for somebody to choose you as a provider of a new pathway and a new way of doing things? How do you get past that fear that people have of even asking for help? What have you figured out?
So for me, it's building that connection and that trust with people. So a lot of what I share on my social media, like I share everything. So, you know, because a lot of people will want to work with me, but then, you know, a lot of objections is I can't afford it. I say, okay, well then follow my content, because I give it all away there, or come to my master classes, because I truly want every woman to feel like I do, right? There are answers. And so I love to engage with all of my followers. And even if I haven't talked to them in like 3 or 4 months, I'll be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, I truly genuinely care. And I think they feel that from me in the energy exchange that I have with them just online. Or I'll send them a little voice note, be like, hey, you crossed my mind. Like, I truly, like, when people cross my mind, I will take a moment to be like, hey, you crossed my mind for whatever reason. I just wanted to send you a little love bomb, right?
I love that. That's such a great tactic. That's so good.
Yeah, and that's really what it is all about, and providing the value, right? I have a lot of free resources as well that they can get from me, and it's just, I think the more I can spread the message out there about the importance of nutrition, the better I will feel. I'm really on this mission to really make an impact.
Goodness. So listener, seriously, listen to how Char's talking about her business. Like, she is clearly, like, not to talk, you know, behind your back right in front of you, but you're so clearly connected to the mission. And like, I really want to call out something that you said, because it's very much my philosophy as well, which is you are very generous online. Like, you are not worried about people, you know, getting why get the cow if you get the milk for free? Like, people kind of have these really scarce mindsets about the knowledge. And it's like, I really hate to break it to anybody who's listening, but there's nothing that you know that cannot be found on ChatGPT or YouTube. So 100%. Then why does somebody pick a coach? It's because of the trust, and it's because of the authentic connection, and it's because of the care that you have as a human that's not replicable by an AI, right? Yeah, 100%. Or a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the accountability, right, that you get from just having a coach, being your cheerleader. Because oftentimes we tell these stories like, I can't do this, or, you know, I can't control myself around food when it's at the office. And it's like, well, if you have that belief, you're going to keep following that. So it's like, just, you know, we do a lot of like work on limiting beliefs and changing that belief, like just changing the word around, like, I have control over the food. Like, there will always be food on the table, right? Because I grew up in a household there were 7 of us in the house. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. And so for us, we were never allowed to leave the table until we finished our plates. And that
was my house too. Yeah.
Yeah,
we were in the same house, same farmhouse. Right? Yeah.
Same farmhouse, yeah. And so we would sit there regardless if we were full, like we would have to finish our plates until we left. And that habit stuck with me for years. So I remember eating like till I was disgustingly full, having to undo my top button. But now I can like say like, hey, there's gonna be food there tomorrow. You know, I can leave food on my plate. It's okay.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it was also such a different time too. Like, you know, when I think back to that, it's like, I was a hardcore figure skater. So I was on the rink and in the cold like all the time. So for me, my food was fuel that was getting used up in a really big way. And so, you know, that kind of farmhouse mentality, I didn't grow up on the farm. My mother did, but I get it.
You get it.
Of like, you don't waste food. But there was also, that went with that, a lifestyle of movement and being out and working and like burning the calories. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much food has evolved in the last like 20 years or so to be much more calorie dense, much more processed. And simultaneously, our lifestyles have become so sedentary.
Yes.
As we're staying like connected to devices and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of innocent roots, right? But if you don't change the pattern, nothing's going to change.
That's exactly
it.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is a high performer, who has a, well, you can just talk to me, Shar. Just talk to me, right?
Yeah.
I do really just personally struggle with prioritizing meal planning. It's tough also because as a high performer, I actually leave the food prep to my dear husband, who does a lovely job, but he's also a giant workouty man. Versus me, I am very much, you know, more sedentary, struggle with making the time to do like walking and things like that. So if you were to say, hey, Amanda, just focus on these top 3 things, what would you tell me to do?
I would tell you to, you know, walking is one of them. So I would challenge you to maybe get a different setup, maybe in your office. So for me, I have a desk job.
So here's the horrible thing. It's right there. I sit next to it every day.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah.
So what I love to do and how I coach my clients is, and this is a concept from James Clear from his book Atomic Habits, is you habit stack it, right? You do something that you want, that you need to do, and you pair it with something you want to do almost. So for me, that example is like, my husband and I love to watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. And so for me, like that's kind of our guilty pleasure. I want to do that. But in order for me to do that, I make a commitment to myself that I have to get a minimum of 7,000 steps every day, 7,000. And if I don't get it, then I don't get to watch it. Like that's almost my reward on the back end of doing the thing that I should be doing and need to be doing versus the thing I want to be doing, which is watching The Bachelorette with my husband. You know?
I love that. That's a great
things
strategy.
like that. When I first started my journey, like I'm sedentary, I sit behind a desk. So my steps were like 2,000 to 3,000 a day. I have to be intentional to get these steps in. And I know the importance of just daily movement. So that's number 1, is just get your body moving. Okay. Number 2 is focusing on protein. We are, as a society, and we are under muscled and under protein. And so ensuring you're eating the right amount of protein. And when I work with clients, because I work off data, so I like them to, you know, track their food for a good 2 weeks. And then once we have that data, we can then see kind of where they're at in terms of their macro breakdown, where their carbs hitting at, where your protein, where your fats. And then we work on a plan to get them to where they should be. Because most often what I see, women are eating around 60 to 80 grams of protein a day, where it should be around 120, 130. I mean, it's different for every woman.
Whoa, that's a big gap.
Yes, it's huge. And this is a reason why I don't do one-time macro calculations, because if I gave you, Amanda, a one-time macro calculation and you saw that you had to be eating 120 or 130 grams of protein and you're sitting way down here at 60, you're going to feel like you're coming out to the farm and eating a side of cow. And it's going to...
Seriously, I'm like... That's a lot. That's a big difference. Yeah.
Yes. And you're not going to feel successful. So I like to take where they're currently at, and we slowly increase it at a rate that they feel comfortable. right? We actually define a whole roadmap to get them to where they should be. And once they get to where they should be, it becomes natural. And so we focus on the habits and the standards for it.
That makes a ton of sense too, because like as you change the mix of the macros, even before you start looking at the caloric intake, like you just shift the proportions, that's already going to have an effect. And then, as you lose the weight, your caloric demands go down as well. And so you'd have to, it strikes me that you would have to constantly be revisiting this, maybe not neurotically so, but you'd have to periodically be revisiting it, because what would have worked for you a month ago won't work in the next month and the next month during that journey. And then of course what you need during maintenance.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I love how you're already talking the lingo, maintenance and recovery and fat loss phase. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, that's so true. Like people think like macros are a one and done calculation, and it's not it. There's almost 3 sets of different macro calculations. There's one for fat loss, there's one for the recovery or reverse, and then there's one for maintenance. Maintenance though is like,
can you explain recovery for me? Like I think I understood the loss and the maintenance, but what's that third one?
Yeah, the recovery. So this is what is not talked about at all. What, like Noom, Weight Watchers, pretty much all the diet programs out there are really good at getting women the fat loss. What they're really horrible about with is how to get a woman out of that fat loss over to living at maintenance, because we should be living at maintenance the majority of the year. But women are under eating, and 90% of my clientele are not eating enough. And so what the recovery or reverse is we take where they currently are and we slowly add calories back into their diet until they reach their maintenance. So I like to use the analogy, Amanda, is your metabolism is a direct mirror of what you're telling it to do. So if you're under eating, so your metabolism is just sitting down here. And I like to use like wood and fire as an analogy. So wood is your food and your fire is your metabolism. So if you don't put any wood on your metabolism, it's gonna sit down here. Same with your food. If you don't feed your metabolism, it's just gonna lay down here and use the calories that you are eating basically for your basic needs, for digesting, sleeping, and that. So the recovery process, what we do is we slowly add calories, and I usually, depending on the client, because there's a lot of mindset work, because we equate eating more food to gaining weight, right? That's just what we're accustomed to. A diet culture has led us to believe. But what actually happens, you start eating more, your metabolism will then kick up. Add a little bit more to kick up, and we do this until you reach your maintenance. And when you're at maintenance, this is then where I kind of coach my clients to go from like tracking to more intuitive eating, because now your metabolism has been optimized because you're now supporting your body with the fuel you need. And it's just such a beautiful place to be. So the whole it's called nutritional periodization. So everyone will need a recovery after a fat loss phase. Like everyone. That's how you get out of a fat loss phase. Yeah, so it's fat loss, recovery or reverse, and then maintenance. So that's kind of the cycle. And where you start in that cycle depends on your goals and what your current eating habits are. But like I said, the majority of my women that I work with are under eating. So we actually start at the recovery, which is actually the fabulous place to, because if you're still learning macros and learning all the habits, if you jump right into a fat loss phase and you're struggling just getting the habits down and the things that are going to propel you forward, you're going to feel like you're not succeeding, which you still are, but you're still just really focused on that fat loss, if that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah. This is awesome, Shar.
Yeah.
What is the best way for I wish we could do a little bit longer, and maybe we have to do a part 2. But Shar, what is the best way for people to follow you?
Yeah, so I'm on social media. So Instagram is probably where I have the most followers. We just launched TikTok this year. I was trying to stay off TikTok for a while, but you can find me on there. It's under Designed by Shar, and it's SHAR. I have a bunch of freebies there. It's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, but Instagram seems to be my most popular platform. And if you DM me the word guide, I can give you like a free fat loss guide where I actually talk about nutritional periodization in there as well. So
amazing. And listener, we'll make sure to have Shar's links below so you don't have to go anywhere. Just check the show notes for that. And before you go, dear listener, make sure that you subscribe and take 30 seconds to leave us a review, because it helps people to choose this show when they're going for their walk, washing their dishes, driving in the commute. We really appreciate your support. And go ahead and share this episode with 3 friends that you feel would love to hear more about what Shar is talking about here. Nutrition is a huge part of high performance. I'm so excited to have had you here on the show. Can't wait to have you back already. And thank you so much for coming, Shar.
Awesome. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.